sword. Please rise for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You got them. I mean, or whatever you are this month. You can change times.
Here.
Mrs. Passio. Here. Mr. Rude.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly. Here. Ms. Bondish. Present. We have no engineer tonight.
No engineer.
And Mr. Wright is around somewhere.
Yes. Okay, public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board of the Borough Clerk's office on January 6, 2014. And two, emailed to the retrospect of the Courier Post on January 6, 2014. Approval of minutes. A motion is in order for the approval of minutes of the 9/23 and September 23rd and October 7th meetings as submitted by the clerk, as each member received copies of the same. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Minutes are approved. Reports.
Okay. We have the report of the Register of Vital Statistics for the month of October. The total of $2,616 was collected for death copies, marriage licenses, and marriage copies. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. The report of the Borough Clerk for the month of October, a total of $407.65 was collected for various permits and copies and 2 dog licenses. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. For the report of the municipal court judge for the month of September, a total of $9,688.37 was collected in court fines, and all monies were turned over to the treasurer. For the report of the police chief for the month of October, a total of $104.25 was collected for accident discovery, solicitor reports, firearm permits. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. For the report of the fire marshal for the month of October, a total of $2,615 was collected in fees. There were 65 total inspections, 128 total incidents, 3 Type 1 permits issued, and October EMS fees, $25,129.77. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. For the report of the tax collector for the month of October, a total of $1,205,789.18 was collected in taxes, and sewer rentals, $33,455.90. I had a tax sale last Thursday. We sold everything except for two, which was one is the retention basin down in Hidden Ponds and a piece of land somewhere in town, which was something they never. And we collected about $258,000 in premiums on top of the paying the majority of the CCNU paid bills. But it was successful.
Do we have a motion to approve the reports as read?
I so moved.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Communications.
We have one letter from Robert Del Sordo regarding Veterans Day luncheon.
You want to read that at all? It's on the...
Oh, you want me to read it?
All right. Okay. Please be advised that the Veterans Day luncheon will be held at the Philly Diner upstairs for the veterans on Tuesday, November 11th, 2014 at noon. This is being sponsored by the Philly Diner and Mr. Del Sordo's office. Okay, what else? Public hearing. Ordinance 14-20 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the zoning ordinance of the Code of the Borough of Runnymede to revise the sign standards in section 395-18.
This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only should step up to the microphone and state their name and address for the record.
All right, seeing no one, make a motion to close the public portion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, someone would make a motion to adopt?
I so move.
I second that motion to adopt.
Okay, so this is a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law. Roll call?
Second, to find the end of this ordinance.
Yeah, it's big.
It's a big one.
Just to make it clear to everyone, what we're approving tonight is a sign ordinance that the borough was lacking. We only had a 2-page sign ordinance, so the new one I think is 20 pages. So I think it's a little-
$500 advertising costs. Mrs. Keller.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
And Mr. Raffas.
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Okay, the ordinance is adopted. Ordinance 14-21, this is an ordinance regulating classification of applicants for the police department in the Borough of Runnymede. This gives preference to residents of the Borough of Runnymede. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance alone, please come to the microphone. Seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public portion.
I make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
Oh, I'll second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we need a motion to adopt.
I make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law. I'll second that motion.
Okay, roll call.
I'm sorry, who made that? Mrs.
Sarah.
Keller? Mrs. Keller.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
And Mr. Raffas.
Yes.
That's 4 ayes, 2 absent.
This ordinance is adopted. Ordinance 14-22, this is an ordinance regulating classification of applicants for the fire department in the Borough of Runnymede. This is also a residency ordinance. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, come to the microphone. Seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public portion.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law. I'll second that motion.
Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Keller.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
And Mr. Raffas.
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Okay, this ordinance is adopted. Committee reports, Finance and Administration, I'm going to rely on my report from caucus because it is extremely long. And just report progress. If there's any questions, I'll take them at the end. Public Safety, Councilwoman Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 bingo licenses and 2 raffle licenses for Holy Child Parish on various dates in 2015. All her paperwork is in order.
Do you want to make
I
that?
would like to make a motion to approve the licenses and raffle licenses for Holy Child Parish.
I'll second that motion to approve.
Is this a roll call?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I would like to continue my report, Mr. President. As you know, this fall, we initiated a bicycle patrol program. It was extremely successful. We had 7 patrols through September and October. We had 4 narcotics arrests, 2 borough ordinance arrests, 1 stolen property arrest, 2 warrants for a total of 9 arrests. We had 2 motor vehicle summonses, and it was a very successful patrol. Next year, we hope to expand it, probably taking in another month, rather than just having the 2 months, probably run it for 3 months in the fall. And maybe even consider looking at it in the springtime. The residents came to me, many residents came to me and said how much they appreciated the fact that they saw these men on bike, walking, talking with their neighbors. So it was a very successful program, and we look to continue it and expand it for next year. Continuing with the police report, we have year-to-date calls for service. This is an amazing number. 6,663 calls for service for our police department. How busy are these men? And we're doing it with less men than we've ever had before. We had traffic summonses this month of 98. We had parking summonses of 90. We had 20 motor vehicle crashes this month. We had 200 arrests this month. So year-to-date for our arrests, 1,254. And this was only with 39 hours of overtime. It's quite amazing. And Chief, kudos to you and your men. This is an amazing report. And I'm just thrilled to be able to let our people know how well you're serving them. To continue, I'm going to give the fire department report. Okay. On October 23rd, Camden County had an Ebola training session at Camden County College. Now you may say, well, Ebola's a million miles away. It's not. We have to be ready. You never know when something has to be handled, especially with our first responders. The training session was all day, and Chief Laverty and Training Officer Kearney went. Since then, they have held training sessions with the staff. The first responders are all getting trained by our Training Officer Kearney to understand just how they are going to handle a situation if there is a suspicion of Ebola. So that is being done right here in this town. We are ready and we are prepared. Our full-time staff is working with their fire marshal and with the emergency management, and everything is being covered. They completed Fire Prevention Week in October, and it was hugely successful. Training Officer Kearney was responsible for training our officers throughout the month, and we had preventive maintenance and pump testing programs done. This is all part of the shared service with Beaver Brook Regional Fire and Lights. So they're right on top of things, and we're looking forward to our new apparatus coming in March. And that's going to be quite a marvelous machine. That's my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Public events, Ms. Patsy.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just want to thank everyone who helped in our Halloween party. It was very successful. There was a great turnout, a lot of new faces. So I'm glad everyone had a great time. And just remember, it's all about the kids. On Sunday, November 28th, we will have our Christmas tree lighting and fire truck parade. And there will be more information will be given and will be posted on our website and throughout social media. So with that, I will say progress.
You want to do the
May I do
engineering?
engineering? Okay. Bob Farrell couldn't attend tonight. He had another engagement that was important. And since Mr. Bayshore isn't here, our engineer, I'm just going to do a brief report. The front and side egress doors, the construction is complete. And Bach Associates is currently preparing a project punch list and the project closeout documents. Washington Avenue construction has commenced. They're doing the sidewalks and curbing, and the milling that they are picking up is going to our Borough Public Works. Construction has commenced, and they have submitted a recommendation for payment number 1 in the amount of $55,829 on October 27th. Generators being constructed right now with the pad, and I guess it'll be placed shortly. Let's see what else. And I think, can you think of anything else?
That's it.
Front doors? Okay. And that concludes engineering report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Moore's not here this evening also. Mr. Wright, do you have any report for Public Works?
Yes, I do. Director Moore asked me to give the October report for Public Works. Basically, for the month of October, trash tonnage for collections was 214 tons. That's basically, I'm going to add a little, that's $60 a ton. Recycling transported to the recycling center that was collected was 58.08 tons. We earned $6.81 a ton for about $400, but the savings there is the fact that it would have cost us $3,400 to dump that recycling. So that's each month. That's one of the benefits of recycling. We did 587 miles on the trash trucks for recycling and yard waste for the month of October. The bus serviced our residents with 769 miles per month of October.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Siri.
Hi, Siri.
Siri doesn't know when to shut.
The sweeper was down, although it was repaired via our interlocal agreement with Belmar. We did 64.9 miles in the month of October for street sweeping. We also started a leaf collection program. Week 1 started the week of the 20th of October on the east side, and we serviced 410 miles of leaves. For the week of 10/27, which is the west side, which is also a recycling week, which we also had 2 days of recycling. We did 277 miles of service. The dog park has been repaired. There there's an issue with one of the apparatus
Yes.
and the gate. Yard waste is officially done as of 11/3. I want to, again, I'm going to add a little here and explain for the residents and for council. We get a lot of complaints about the way that the meeting is being done right now. And basically what they're doing is they're going from pile to pile. Given the amount of leaves that are still in the trees and the wind that we've been having for the past couple weeks, we cannot do curb to curb. We would not be able to do the route that we're doing now. We're able to do both sides twice with the timing that we have. So I've asked them to, when it makes sense, to go curb to curb, because there's some areas where there's enough that if you raked it, it would be a huge pile. So we're working on that right now, but we're just gonna have to have patience until all the leaves come down, and then we can hit it and then come back with the street sweep. We will be addressing our playgrounds this month, especially Veterans Park. We've had a delay with parts and a repair there. The slides have been repaired with epoxy and sanded down. We're waiting on parts, and hopefully in the next couple weeks that park will be open. We're going to mulch off the playgrounds. And snow prep is underway, including we have quotes in right now to enhance our 2015 operations. Hopefully there won't be any more 2014 operations with the brine applicator. So we'll be able to go out a couple days ahead of the storm, similar to what the highways do in other towns, and apply the brine on the roadway to get a head start. It's very cost effective compared to retreating the salt. Plus it can be done during the regular operations. It's not done. So the only other thing is, again, at the beginning of the capital bond, there is an appropriation for both the trash truck and for improvements to the Harry Williams complex. They're related with Public Works. And Public Works.
Public Works. Thank you. We'll come back. Parks and Rec.
Thank you.
Mr. Ritter.
Yeah, we're gonna have a meeting either, most likely tomorrow, if not Friday, with Barnco for the pole barn, to get the plans, the official plans that we need. The surveys are completed for the permits, so they're all in, with the construction officials. Basically have progress with the fountain and the electric, and progress with, benches and the cans down at 3 acres, and the rest of it's progress.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wright, you're back. Mr.
Good. I'll basically rely on my report from caucus, but I will rehash it. We have the transfer resolution. We have the bond ordinance, which we get briefly go over the items in there. And there's three personnel actions that we on the agenda for consideration.
Thank you. Solicitor's report?
Mr. President and Council, I do not have anything to report.
Okay, great. Engineer's not here tonight. Old business, we have none. Public comment on agenda items. This is something we've introduced. It's an opportunity for anyone in the audience, if they wish to make a comment about the upcoming items on our agenda that we're going to be voting on. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, come to the microphone and speak about these and only these ordinances. Seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so new business, resolution.
You want to read it?
Yeah. Resolution 14-165, resolution designating recipients for the Camden County Improvement Authority Housing Rehabilitation Program, and authorizing Camden County Improvement Authority as administrative agent. This is just, this is for the residents in town.
This is the HIP program with the county.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, resolution is adopted. Resolution 14-166 is a resolution authorizing an interlocal service agreement by and between the County of Camden and the Borough Meeting for $25,000, round 12, recreation facility enhancement for the RYAA improvements. This is the money going towards the toll.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
This looks like roll call.
Yes.
Roll call?
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Vassia?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
He's not here.
Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
And Mr. Campbell?
Yes. This resolution is adopted.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution 14-167, resolution authorizing interlocal service agreement by and between the Black Horse Pike Regional School District and the Borough of London. This is the police.
Please, the title reads.
Maybe I should let you. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call.
Let me go back.
Just to let everyone know, just to let everyone know in the audience that the borough, through this interlocal, gets $95,551 out of a police officer at Franklin School.
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mrs. Casio?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
And Mr. Campbell?
Yes,
4 ayes, 2 absent.
this resolution is adopted. Resolution canceling property taxes on block 115, lot 13, due to a 100% total and permanently disabled exemption authorized by the borough assessor. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call?
Mrs. Keller?
Yes.
Mrs. Casio?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
And Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Resolution authorizing the Borough of Bonneville to enter into an interlocal service agreement with the County of Camden for snow removal.
I'll make a motion.
Second it?
Roll call?
Mrs. Casio?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
And Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
The resolution is adopted. Resolution 14-170, resolution authorizing a landowner agreement between the Borough of Bonneville and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services.
I make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call?
I did a roll call, I wasn't sure, because I don't know whether they actually give us anything out of this.
I don't think there's any money, but
Just advice and
you do a roll call.
There was something with a $sign and a zero in there, what that meant, I don't know. The agreement's not in there, but Leslie had already looked at it. Okay, Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
yes.
And Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 14-171, resolution approving a change order for Lambert Construction LLC. This is the contractor doing Washington Avenue. This is increasing the scope of the job.
I so move.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
And Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution 14-172, this is a resolution authorizing property maintenance liens for various blocks and lots.
I make a motion.
I second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
And Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
You need more than one.
Resolution 14-173, resolution confirming 2014 appointments. This is a resolution, fire EMTs, Kevin C. Early, part-time EMT, $12 per hour. Brittany Swan, part-time EMT, $12 per hour. Administrative offices, Kristen Ebersmeyer, part-time clerk, not to exceed 24 hours per week, $15 per hour. And Greg Anderson, part-time clerk, not to exceed 10 hours per week, $25 per hour. These are obviously self-explanatory, the EMTs. The office clerk, she's here this evening, we welcome her. She will be working with Mrs. Pinto in the front office, and Mr. Anderson will be working with Mr. Wright in his office area.
May I request that we change the one word in that
Sure.
and make it be the account clerk?
Account clerk,
Part-time account.
Everything else will be the same if you put.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson becomes account?
Oh, is that
I
Ebersmeyer?
think it would- Unless you disagree, Bruce, I think it makes them both more flexible. I think they're the same standing in civil service, but one is more limited than the other.
Okay.
It gives you more flexibility.
Right. Let's amend this then. So Mrs. Ebersmeyer would be a part-time account clerk, not to exceed 24 hours per week. And Mr. Anderson would be a part-time account clerk, not to exceed 10 hours per week. Okay? Do I have a motion?
I so move.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call?
Is this on the amendment?
This is on this ordinance, or on ordinance, resolution 14.
Do we have to approve the amendment?
Well, I just read it in, so.
Okay.
Roll call?
Any second?
Ms. Patsy?
I did.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
And Mr. Capello?
Yes. Congratulations.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Uh,
And then we have to add
Oh,
on
we
the
have that
trans,
too.
we have, first we have the transfer resolution. This is a resolution authorizing the treasurer to make transfers between appropriations in the 2014 budget.
Okay, everyone has a copy. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve resolution to authorize the treasurer to make transfers between appropriations in the 2014 budget, Borough Meeting, Camden of County of Camden, New Jersey.
I second that.
Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
And Mr. Capello?
Yes. Okay, the resolution is adopted.
And then we have first reading for bond ordinance. I'm finding the number.
That's ordinance 1423.
1423, which is a bond ordinance, somewhere here, in the amount of, was it 460,000?
Correct.
Want me to read it?
$460,000. Well, after, that's, no, the total is 460, and then after the 5% is, that's with the 5%. It's 437, actually, is the aggregate, but you have to appropriate 5% down.
Okay. Mr. Ray, you want to elaborate this before we have a? Sure. Good make a motion. Let you explain.
It's probably in your packet, but I just made a copy of the legal advocates in newspaper, just a snapshot of what's in there, what I'm basically reading. Item A is reconstruction improvements of various borough roads as described in the documentation in the office of the borough clerk. $75,000 is the total cost, and that's basically for Irish Road. Acquisition of replacement equipment for Public Works Department, including but not limited to a trash truck, that is $185,000. Various improvements and renovations to borough facilities included but not limited to the Harry Williams Complex, $100,000. Acquisition of computer equipment for borough offices together with all materials, $15,000. And acquisition of various equipment for police department, including but not limited to all-wheel drive police vehicles, with all materials and equipment and completion of their work and work necessary therefore, $85,000. So that's your total of $460,000. On a side note there, I know it's not in here, it was listed originally. The focus is obviously the roof on the Harry Williams, because you can't do anything in the gym until that roof is addressed. We also have issues in the senior center, and the carpeting and et cetera needs to be replaced in the senior center. It's basically non-existent. We will allow council delegates to have a subcommittee so that they can pick colors and all that fun stuff, so that everyone's in agreement. We don't want to have anything to do with that in finance, but, I know that under the computer equipment, the main items there were the upgrade to the e-ticket so that we don't have to print out the e-ticket information after we swipe and then type the information into the computer, because somehow that doesn't work too well. And we need a new server for the police department. So that's the majority of that. We also need a couple computers down for the works. Any questions?
And more than likely 2 police vehicles.
That will be for 2 police vehicles, yes, that's not one.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion.
I so move.
Second.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
And Mr. Capello?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
That's it. Okay, payment of bills. I need a motion to
I'll make a motion.
pay the bills. Mr. Ruth.
I'll second that motion.
Ms. Passio, roll call.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
And Mr. Capello?
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
Resolution is adopted. Good and welfare. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Maria Panzer, 12 South Oak Avenue. I just want to reiterate your report with regard to the department you speak on behalf of. I can't say enough about the police department this month. I witnessed firsthand someone being hit by a car, and that whole department just reacting. It was absolutely. I also came home on Saturday night and had an incident on my street where the fire backup for 3 other towns, and our code officers on duty. It was amazing what they did. There was at least 15 underage drinkers having a party in my neighbor's house. And just what you said about the bikes, I saw that on Halloween, they were riding around. I think it was the first time I've ever seen it, made a huge difference, and I hope that you do extend it out months so that I saw it, I told you all the time, so it makes a big difference. I appreciate them, and thank you all for all you do.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Chief, yeah. You're welcome. I go, hey, Captain, I mean, whatever you offer.
Good evening, Council. My name is John Cochran. I reside at 761 West Fair Avenue. I'm actually here before the council this evening to discuss an ongoing issue with my pension. I have not been able to receive any correspondence with Mr. Wright. I've sent 2 certified letters. I've emailed him. I've attended phone calls, and I'm advised that he does not accept phone calls. I have an ongoing issue with my pension dating back to 2007, where money was withdrawn from my paycheck and was never sent to the pension Borough Board. I noticed this in August of 2013 when my pension switched from PERS to the police and fire pension. Once I noticed this on the 13th, I met with Mr. Wright from the 13th of August once a month to track progress on this until May of 2014. In May of 2014, I took it upon myself to make an appointment with the pension council and drive to Trenton because I wasn't getting any answers from Mr. Wright. I understand you're a busy man, and I'm not trying to call you on the carpet here and be disrespectful at all, sir. They advised me what I needed to do. I drafted that in the form of a certified letter, which I sent to Mr. Wright, and I believe I also sent it to Mr. Kelly. And I also believe I gave a copy to Chief Daly and also to my sergeant at the time while I was reporting to the police department. I didn't hear any response from that. So I went ahead again and I sent an email because I called to speak with Mr. Wright. I was advised that he speaks to people by email, so I drafted an email which I never received a response from. A couple months later, I took it upon myself to draft another certified letter which I sent to Mr. Wright and I also sent to you, Mrs. Kelly. I have received no response from that. I also drafted Mr. Wright an email which I sent on
Mr. Cochran, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What's the problem here?
Okay, so the problem is I started working with the Borough of Runby in 2005. In 2007, I was placed into public employees retirement. From 2005 until 2010, money was withdrawn from my check, but it was never sent to the state of New Jersey. So after 24 months of inactivity on my PERS account, the Department of Pensions PERS canceled my PERS account. Now there was money which I have paychecks, and also Mr. Wright was kind enough to print out money that was withdrawn from my paycheck. Now, the reason how I found this out was when I was hired full-time with the road department in 2010, they re-enrolled me into the PERS. Okay, so from 2010 until I was hired in April of 2013 with the police department, my PERS time transferred into police and fire time, and I looked in my statement, and I only took 35 months from public employees retirement into police and fire. Well, I've been paying into public employees retirement since 2007. I should have taken taken a lot more time than that.
You're saying how many more months?
It would have been 3 years.
So 36 more months
From
have been added?
2007 until 2000, you'll have to excuse me, I'm a little bit fuzzy on the exact date I was hired into Public Works, but from 2007 was when I started paying in the PERS until I guess they re-enrolled me when I was hired full-time in the Public Works Department. What I'm trying to do is I detailed inside the letter what needs to be done by the state of New Jersey. They told me what has to be done. I dictated that in the letter. A letter needs to be sent to the PERS department so I can get this time moved from PERS that I paid for into the police and fire system so I can recoup that.
So you're concerned that you would be credited for the time when you go to retire?
Well, that's the thing. I paid for it, and the borough took the money from it, or before it, and I want to get that time placed in the police and fire. And I'm kind of like, this is not really the way I like to conduct business. I don't like to come here to a public meeting and do this, but I'm kind of running out of options. I haven't received, like I said, any correspondence.
Are you getting ready to retire?
No, I'm not getting ready to retire, but this is just, if I don't deal with this now, and I wait 30 years till I retire, it's gonna be like who was John Cochran? When did he work for us? It's gonna be like it's gonna be a far more.
Do you have any idea why you weren't, why the town clerk did not send your, your funds
To tell you the truth, sir, I don't, because I do have, I had enrollment paperwork that I filled out in 2007 while I was employed as a special police officer. It was sent to it was sent up to PERS, and I was advised by PERS that they started an account for me, but they never received payment. And then after
since 2007?
Well, they never received, so when they started that first account, they never received any payment. So after 24 months of inactivity on the account, they went ahead and they canceled the account, which is apparently that's by their policies and procedures. So the money was being taken, and then once I was hired full-time with Public Works, they went ahead and started me another, I filled out more paperwork, and they started me another PERS account. So that time transferred to police and fire, but the time from 2007 until 2010, when money was being subtracted from a paycheck, was never transferred.
Yeah, I apologize, but we had an account clerk who was not doing her job properly. And I think that this borough has realized a lot, that we have a lot of things that were not done properly. As you can say, this goes back to 2007.
Sure.
And so I think Mr. Wright's department and other personnel in that office have tried to remedy things. I'm not going to make any excuses why for 12 months we haven't addressed your problem, other than there's a long list of county mistakes, and I think you're aware of many of them and things like that. I'll let Mr. Wright respond, but I just want to let you know, let the residents know. You understand, 2007,
Sure.
you're talking about an account clerk
Sure.
didn't send your money in, and you're 100% right.
Absolutely. And like I said, this is in no way, I mean, you and I have had always a good working relationship together. This is in no way to put you on blast here. It's in no way to disrespect you. It's just a way for me to try to remedy this problem. I understand you're a busy man, but, you know, after a while, I can't, I don't get any response. I have to feel the need, I have to come up and say something and make people aware of what's going on, so just so the problem's remedied.
Right. So, I basically will say this, I'm going to agree with everything that Mr. Cochran just said. And to answer the question, I can't answer, none of us were here at the point in time when this took place, so I can't answer as to why it happened. I do know that the certifications from pensions came down to start turning over money. Each month, there would have been a report that had to be done, and it should have been sent up when the report was reconciled. Lots of red flags. We've had numerous conversations, both formal and informal, on this topic, and I think I've been clear from the point of view that this is going to take a while to get done.
Sure.
Because the pension, when you call pensions and you go up, they give you an oversimplified answer. And two of the problems that I corrected prior years, they actually sent the check back to me and told me that I had to do it two separate ways, even though both instances they were the same issue. But one time they wanted it done one way, another time they wanted it done another way. And what you actually have to do is you have to go back for each pay that you received during that period of time. And I think I was able to verify 31 months. And you have to, it doesn't include overtime because it would only be base pay. And unfortunately, the way that the payrolls were done back then, I have to go back and manually look at each pay period to see what the breakout was. So I have spreadsheets that I had to do on that. And so from that point of view, you know, it's a complicated process. And I know you kind of touched on it, but from the triage point of view, I have current employees that weren't properly enrolled, who right now are looking at back deductions and weren't having the proper deductions taken out. So they received the priority. We also had people that didn't have proper taxes and things of that nature being handled. We had to rectify those situations where that led to IRS issues. So we had some issues that had to be corrected that definitely superseded this. And to be quite honest with you, the progress that I've made on this has been on weekends and late nights when everything else shuts down, because you can't do it when the phones are ringing and people are coming in. I apologize. I kind of felt that we had an understanding that when I was able to get it to them, that I would CC you on the package that went out. And, you know, again, when an email comes in, you know, 10 more come in after that, you know, I can do a better job of responding to you. But the issue is a little more complicated than they make it sound. And I can almost guarantee you that it will be in their hands by, you know, the end of next month. I can't promise this short, but the end of next month, because my goal is to have all these items cleared before we roll over into 2015. Sorry.
And as you noticed this evening, we've just hired Mrs. Eppersmeyer, who's going to work very hard on on all these projects.
Oh,
And Mr. Anderson,
I'll be with
and Mr. Anderson, who's also going to help on all these issues. Because as you well know, we've lost a lot of people in the patrol departments, and we do realize that we're behind on certain things.
Okay. Like I said, I just wanted to try to bring it to your attention.
I see.
It's not,
And
like I
I think
said,
the finance committee at least is aware of it because it has been included in the updates, but I don't take it personally, John, and I'm sorry you had to come out.
no, it's no work, this is the way we do things, so. But like I said, the last thing in the world I want to do is pursue legal action against the borough. I mean, this borough was really good to me. I worked for this borough for almost 10 years. They afforded me a lot of opportunities, so much so that my wife and I, we purchased a home in this borough. You know what I mean? So.
And you're doing well, doing a good job.
That's definitely wanted to see you go there. I think it would slow
No,
down.
no, absolutely, and that's not somewhere where I want to go either, and like I said, that's why I've never had a problem with this borough. In fact, this man right here, I wouldn't even be doing the job I was doing if it wasn't for this man right here. A lot of respect, a lot of regard for him, a lot of respect, a lot of regard for you people on council. I just wanted to try to get the matter resolved as quickly as I can, so.
We're glad to see you succeed.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, officer.
Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing no one else, we'll make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
I so move to close the public portion of the meeting.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public portion is closed. Do I have a motion to close, to adjourn?
I
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.